Great, thanks to yourself, David.
You got so much energy compared to me.
I know you asked me this question with the fact that you're not doing so well, so let's hear what your response is.
I'm alive. I mean, there's things I can complain about. At least I'm standing real quick.
Yeah, like man, yeah, no, it's been taking a while. This thing has been pulling you down for a while, yes?
Yeah. I've not been healthy for far too long now, but is what it is. It's fine. It happens. It's okay. I'm alive.
So long you stay that way.
Yeah, it's cool. Cool guys. So Drew and them are just going to be joining us in a few seconds. We've also got Miguel Martins who's going to be joining us. Drop a message in the chat box, say hello. What I want to quickly do is we're just starting to get everything back from all of the photographers and everything from Invest of the Year Award. So I wanted to quickly run our 30-second highlight reel so you guys can see that and see what you guys missed out on. If you are in the chat box, let us know if you were there or not. Nico, you were there. You enjoyed the evening.
It was amazing, eh? I must say. That's like even the food was fantastic, but obviously all the winners were the people who were supposed to be there. But yeah, I'm glad for the winners. I think it was a fantastic evening.
Yeah, it's good. Also, I want to run this video, and then it looks like Andrew's just joining. We'll run with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Investor of the Year Awards.
There you go. How's it, Andrew?
Hey, Dave. How's it, Nico? How's it going, man?
Right, yeah,
All right. Good.
Cool. I love that video, eh? Just pity I couldn't be there and I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Cool,
it's good to see
man.
the highlights coming in. It's good to see. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice to
things
look back
happening,
at it.
eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, after being in Invest of the Year Award for so long, it's nice to look back and see it's done now.
I know. Big success, eh? Massive success. In fact, how's that? I just go into Facebook now and it says your memories came up of Investor of the Year 2019. How cool is that? Just out of nowhere.
we were getting the 2018 ones like a week or so ago as well. So Facebook's sitting there reminding us for all the things we did 5 years ago.
So I haven't seen photos from 2018, eh? Let's actually get some photos for that.
Yeah, there's a couple floating around. we didn't. I think back
We
then we
didn't
didn't have a
take
professional
many, eh?
photographer or anything. But it was good. Cool guys. So coffee chat, the usual show.
Crazy,
Let us know where you guys are joining from. What I'll do in a second, I'll take you through the event calendar for the rest of the year. It's not very long, I promise. And then, yeah, we can see if you guys have any questions. So if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat box, and Nico and Andrew and myself will do our best to answer that. And I believe we've got a bit of an update coming from Miguel later as well, Drew.
Yeah, so I've asked Miguel from Absa Bank just to come live with us just for 5-10 minutes to find out how many bonds have been registered in 2021. How did Absa find 2021? Was it a good year? Was it a bad year? What are Miguel's thoughts with regards to going into 2022? And we want to know from all of you, how have you found 2021? Was it a good year for you? Was it a bad year for you? Was it a massive success? And how do you all feel going into 2022? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Dave, remember this time last year, we were like, yeah, COVID's done with, back to live events in January. 2020 was a good year, and 2021. And then I think it was the third or the second wave in January of this year. So, yeah, it'd be really good to get everyone's inputs, as to how they found 2021 and what's going to be happening in 2022, eh? Yako is saying, Miguel's team did 5 bonds for me this year. If any of you got an Absa Bank bond, can you let us know, please, in the comments box? If you got a bond from Absa, let us know.
So there was one that went through on the brokerage, that was accepted by the purchaser this morning through Absa, also 100% bond, eh?
Yeah, that was the Glen Murray deal, eh?
100%.
Yeah, I was in touch with Auntie Jane. So it's good to see that I went through 100% bond, because people always ask, can you still get 100% bonds? And people saying, oh no, you can't. Of course you can. Jean-Paul saying yes, he's got one so far. Fantastic. That's Yuck with a few bonds. Linda Kule, good to see you there from Durban. Jade, how you doing, Jade? Who else is with us? Hey, John, man, jeez, we need to do an extension there, Nico, with the development, but we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
We've got 100% bond with ABSA, Jade is saying 2 weeks ago. So ABSA's obviously been quite aggressive, which is a good thing with their lending of money. And despite the times, it just shows that people are still buying and the market's still very active. I mean, Nico, how do you find it with the brokerage? I mean, you work with quite a few property investors and agents. Are you finding sellers are holding out for the prices, or are you finding lots of cheeky offers being accepted?
Sure, I must say it's a little bit of a mixed bag, because we've had both of them. But at the end of the day, I think people are looking at relocating, and then they have certain deadlines, which makes them a little bit more motivated to accept a lower offer. So people do go in with cheeky offers. So that happens quite a lot. They don't normally go on the listing price. Listing prices aren't normally the selling price that actually ends up at the end of the day. So it's definitely more cheeky,
Yeah. Because I'm finding still a lot of sellers out there from my personal experience that are holding out for higher offers. So you've really got to find the motivated sellers. If I think of the offers I've put in recently, geez, there's still confidence there. People are still waiting up for higher offers, but I guess, like in any market, Nico, whether it's going up or down, if the seller is motivated, they're motivated. If there's equity in the deal and there's a strong enough reason why they've got to sell, that's when you pick up the nice more pearlers.
Now, that's our clientele. I mean, that's what we're preaching, and that's what we're doing. Needs to have motivation, needs to have equity. Otherwise, it's not really going to move quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. And just remember, guys, if you have any questions for us, property questions or support, or you're doing a deal, you're not quite sure what's going on, you got Dave, myself, and Nico. And at 1:15, we'll bring Miguel from Absa Bank on, just to get his update from Absa Bank point of view. I mean, Dave, how are we looking at events for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so I think, as always, we're nearing the end now. This is sort of the trend. So only pretty much 2 events on the calendar left for the year. Nico will be hosting a virtual breakfast on Wednesday the 8th. So that'll be the brokerage breakfast. So if you guys want to get, Nico will cover some of the deals now at a high level. But if you want to get in the details, in the weeds, then we'll be having a bit of that virtual breakfast. So that's Wednesday, 8 o'clock. And then next week, we've got Coffee Chat again, and then we've got Premier events. So that'll be web-based as well. We'll be talking about setting yourself up for success in 2022. We've got Christian Harbeck coming on to talk about some goal settings. We've got a couple of the Investor of the Year award winners to talk about how they're planning for their success for next year. And yeah, Drew, you're also going to be sharing a bit that evening.
Yeah, so that's the last event, right? The 15th of December, which unfortunately it's virtual because of COVID, but it's still going ahead from 6:30 in the evening until 10 o'clock at night. We're going to have some of our partners there talking about, and the Investor of the Year winners, just talking about 2021. Let's sum up 2021. What were the highlights of 2021? And then, yes, getting our mindsets right for 2022. There's been a lot of positive and negative things happen in 2021, and we want to make sure that all of you do go into 2022 with a positive mindset, looking at things like goal setting and your mindset, like I say. So Christian Harbeck, who is from Action Coach, will be doing a slot on getting that right as property investors, helping us do time management. A big thing that a lot of people struggle with is time management. And how do you manage your time? How do you fit in a busy life with a family? And now you're going to go view properties. And it's tough. For, you know what? I'm busy. Every single one of us is busy. Here's the question. What are you busy with? Because if you're busy with things that are making money, we're good. If you're busy firefighting, if you're busy doing stuff that's just not bringing the money in, then something going wrong. So make sure all the professional and intermediate members, make sure you join us on the 15th of December at 6:30. It's a virtual event. That'll be awesome. And geez, Dave, I see quite a few comments coming in here for Absa Bank, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Some good stats over there. I've got two of my coaches students here in Cape Town chatting to them this week. They got pre-approved above what they're actually expecting. So that was from ABSA. They got pre-approvals. So yeah, some good money floating around. The banks definitely have a little bit of debt to throw around, which is really nice. It's good to see.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Yaku's getting all 90% bonds. I think he got 5 bonds at 90%. Jade got his 100%. And Tanyani also got a 100% bond with ABSA. So that's some good stats.
Cool. So it's like 2. How many has Jaco done?
So that's 7 that we've got on the list over here.
7 so far in a few minutes. Yeah, very interesting. Plus our Glen Moreau one, that's 8. Yeah, it's good to see the traction there. All righty, and tell us, everyone, Jade and John Paul and Yaku, and everyone else, what are your views and thoughts of going into 2022? Are you positive? Are you negative? What's the outlook? Do you think it's going to be a buyer's market, a seller's market? Give us your opinion as to where you see the property market in South Africa going next year. Let us know what you guys think. And let's see what else is coming in here. Nico, what are your thoughts, eh?
So I'm thinking it's going to be a very interesting year. I think there's still a lot of people that's feeling the crunch, especially with the interest rates that's going up. I do think, that people's bonds is going to be a little bit more. They might still be in the same process that they started this year of downscaling, and maybe even going to, combining living spaces, maybe, with parents moving in with them in the place. So they are reconciling or getting closer to each other. So there's definitely going to be a lot of stock available, which I think is positive from our perspective to get stock at a good price. And, that's why we always test it against higher interest rates as well, so that you can just make sure you can continue on that bonds. And I think a lot of people did not do that calculations when they were able to get the bonds at 7%, which is unfortunately for them, but also good for our business, because I think installment sales is going to open up a little bit more as well.
Yeah, and we see more and more that, aren't we?
Yeah,
with the installment
100%.
sale agreements.
Yeah.
Jaco
Yeah, I
says,
think
sorry, Dave.
I think the hardest thing with the guys who are coming out now under, like Nico described, is they're not going to have a lot of equity to play with. So installment sale agreements is definitely a strategy going into next year. You guys are going to have to understand and wrap your head around, because there's not going to be a ton of equity in all these properties that people have bought with all the low interest rates.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Do you all know what installment sale agreements are? Just say yes, know what it is, or we don't. And if you don't, we'll explain it a little bit later. So Jaco says, regardless of whether the market improves, there's still amazing deals out there. Just take some good vetting. I agree. James, good to see you, James. Happy to be here. 2021 was my year learning and educating myself, and definitely 2022 we'll be learning and doing some great deals. Remember, James was on the buying experience with us. And Beanie says, I think it'll be a buyer's market due to the ongoing economic struggles. It's a confusing period. Yeah, I do agree. Still lots of uncertainty, right? And Beanie, still lots of uncertainty. What's going to happen? Is there going to be a 5th, 6th wave of COVID? Who knows? Dave has just posted a link to the installment sale agreement course for those of you that want to know how to control a property and asset and protect yourselves and make good money out of it. Check it out on the Property Academy's website. Okay, cool. Question: what's the quickest way of paying off your bond? Tayani, what is the quickest method of paying off your bond? What do you reckon?
Don't pay off your bond. Why? You're going to suffocate your own cash flow to pay back the bank the money that they don't need. Let your bond run. Use the full term. You've got the facility. Make use of the facility, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking that. Sorry,
yeah.
Andrew.
No, go for it. And then
I
we'll
think
bring on
the best way of paying off a bond is to get someone else to pay it off for you.
Yeah, so exactly. So I mean, like for your investment properties that you're renting out all the time, it's always good to leverage. And I guess if the question it relates to your own home, I mean, some of the tricks, if you pay your monthly bond, but you set up a separate standing order every 4 weeks, for example, how the banks calculate the interest, you can take a 20-year bond, and just by paying a little bit extra every single month, we can bring that 20-year bond down to 14, 13 years, depending how much that is. And it only costs you an extra few thousand rand every single month, or a percentage that bond. But I see we got Miguel Martins on from ABSA. Hey Miguel, how are you, man? Can see you live.
Andrew, hi. Good to. Can you hear me and see me? Okay.
Perfect.
Good to be here. Good to join you. Good to join you guys mid chat.
Yes, thanks.
I hope I didn't miss a round of coffee.
You did already, eh? But the second round's on its way.
Cool. Excellent.
I don't know if you heard the first part, Miguel. I was just asking, just like a matter of interest. I was asking everyone who's done a bond with ABSA, and quite a few people came back, saying yes. Most people got 100% bonds from ABSA. Jaco gets 90% bonds, but he sits in Belgium. That's why, and most of the directors are outside the country. But I think just within a few minutes, there are like 7 or 8 people. If you scroll through that list on Restream, or if you look at the Facebook comments, if anyone else has just joined us, this is the 1 o'clock session with Andrew and Dave, and we've got Miguel here from ABSA as a guest, and Nico. And the reason I've asked Miguel to come on is just to find out what was ABSA's feeling and thoughts around how 2021 went. How many bonds did ABSA Bank register? What are Miguel's feelings going into 2022? So I thought, Miguel, would be a great time for you to jump in and give us your opinion and give us some stats and facts, eh?
No, sure, Andrew. No, thanks for having me on, and great to share some facts. There's so much perception and sentiment running in the market. You move up 0.25%, and half investors get concerned and run away with the thoughts of increasing interest rates. Other half the investors think, it's now very much a buyer's market. Let's go out and just start buying, right? And it's good to have some numbers to support the thinking and the strategies. So I haven't put together ABSA's numbers necessarily for you to share with you today, but I've got some market numbers, and I can talk to what the market's done over the last year. And these are extracts that we get from the deeds office. They're definitely not final numbers, but they do give us definitely a view on the direction of the market, right? So maybe some quick numbers to share. And what we do, what's always helpful is year on year. Problem is 2020 was not really much of a year in some cases and a hell of a year in many other cases, right? So if I looked at in terms of the registrations, what was registered at the deeds office, and this is when it comes down to investors, all right? So at the deeds office in 2020, investors, which are companies or individuals with more than one property, so multiple property holding, they did 20 billion rands worth of registrations at the deeds office. This year, and that's up until the end of September, this year, that number's increased to 50 billion. Yes. So from 20 to 50 billion. Now, given that there's a massive hole in the middle, in April, May of 2020, where almost no business was done, deeds office was literally shut down. Okay, so that's why there's such a significant jump. And apologies, I didn't get the 2019 numbers out to really see, to really get a proper year-on-year view. But that's almost 150. That is 150% increase year-on-year. So huge amount of activities in 2021. What's driven that? Well, interest rates, low interest rates. Low interest rates have brought people into the market. They brought, if we look at the broader market, first-time home buyers, massive increase in first-time home buyers. Because when you drop interest rates by 3%, well, people can afford more. So we've had massive first-time home buyers coming to the market. What they couldn't afford before, they could now afford. And then investors came in because same thing. It was a lot more affordable. There was definitely some distress in the market from the lockdowns. Businesses being under stress, incomes being affected. And investors took advantage, I think, of the low interest rates, some distressed customers, etc. So we've had a very, very active market here in South Africa over the last year.
Yeah, and Migs, what are your thoughts with? There's been a lot of good renters and tenants now buying properties because they're good. They got good credit profiles. They can get 100% bonds. What's your view on interest rates? Can only go one way now, and that's up. like in 2, 3, 4 years, do you think there's going to be a lot of people that can just afford the bond now that may be squeezed in a few years' time because interest rates will go back up?
Sure, that's a tough one, right? So yeah, interest rates definitely on their way back up. We went up by 0.25% a few weeks ago. Next year, depending who you speak to, we could go up by another 1% or another 2%. So it's definitely one way. I think who mortgaged in the last 18 months at the low interest rates definitely might be more at risk. But I also think the banks, when they did their credit assessments, they also appreciate that they're not just lending to someone at that point in time, that they're actually getting into a 20-year contract with the borrower. So banks will take a long-term look at their credit assessment and try to make sure that affordability is sustainable, can absorb additional costs. Otherwise, they're just putting their borrower and themselves into trouble. So banks do need to take that long-term view. Nonetheless, and if you're an investor, if you've taken on that additional debt, and if you've taken on the additional debt, and you're hoping that rents will keep up with increasing costs, that's definitely going to be a tough. Rents have increased 0% year on year. In some cases, have reduced. In I think in Gauteng, if I'm mistaken, have reduced. I don't know if figures close at hand, but they're definitely flat. So what's going up? Well, utilities, Eskom, petrol to go and do viewings for tenants has gone up. What hasn't gone up is rents. So whenever I speak to investors, who are in the situation, have a tenant, have a couple of tenants, is hold on to your tenants, treat them like gold, make sure they stay on, because everything does turn. Everything turns. It's just the question is when.
Yeah.
Exactly. And going into next year, are you positive or negative?
Sure. Tough question. That's a very individual question, right?
It is. It's your own opinion.
Are costs going to go up? Yes, costs are going up. Is that a good thing? Of course it's not. But does it bring other opportunities? Yes, it does. So I think, I think no one can say they're confident going into next year, entirely confident. Have they prepared themselves for what will be a tough year, and are they ready to take on the challenges? That's the question. So if you've got a bit of a savings pool to handle the increasing costs, have you got a bit of margin in your rental income? Then you're better off. If you haven't got that margin, then it's not about necessarily about being negative or positive. It's about getting yourself ready to be able to handle what's coming and possibly making some tough decisions.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Migs. What I want to do is hold you on for a few more minutes, if you don't mind. I want Dave just to quickly update us with regards to what's happening with the events. So we'll do a second round. What's happening in the month of December, because there aren't that many events left. If you have any questions for Miguel at ABSA, please feel free to. Mig, you can check out the private chat in Restream there if you want to see a couple of the comments that have come through and if you want to answer any of those. But if you have any questions for Miguel at ABSA Bank, please do so. So Dave, take us through for the guys that just joined us now. What's happening in December?
100%, guys. So yeah, like we've said, we're coming to the end of it, so there's not too much happening. About 2 major events coming up. Wednesday morning, Nico will be hosting a virtual brokerage breakfast. Nico, do you want to just talk about what you do at the brokerage breakfast real quick?
Right, so we decided to do this a little bit virtual this time. I think we have a massive amount of deals that's currently at the brokerage that needs to be sold to investors that's still looking for their deal. I've been a lot of investors reach out to me in this last couple of weeks saying that, look, we're looking for a nice multi-let to close off our year. It would be nice to get them. Well, we brought them to the table for you, even from multi-let opportunities. We have a couple of developments in there. We've got a couple of angel investment opportunities. And that's what we're physically going to be talking through there. So it's basically come and have a look what's on the table. We discuss it, bring your own breakfast to your camera, and then we'll take it from there and just talk through the deals, eh?
Awesome. Yeah. Breakfast at home by Zoom. It's good. After that, we've got a premier event, so that's going to be held virtually. Premier event that's on the 15th of December, starts at about 6 for 6:30. Where we talk about setting yourself up for success. Sorry, in 2022, and also looking back a little at 2021. How did 2021 go, and what are we looking forward to for next year, and how we're going to make sure that next year is a really good one, because I think we all need a really good year at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's pretty much
Definitely.
it.
Is that
Two more
it,
coffee
eh?
chats. Yeah, two more coffee chats. This one next week and the 20th. Sorry, just getting the calendar back open. And then we're done for the year. And then everyone can go enjoy Christmas and everything. And then we'll be back in January doing who knows what, because we're not sure what COVID's doing yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we can't make any more assumptions anymore. Migs, I was saying to Dave earlier that this time last year we assumed that COVID would be done in 2021. Because you just think it does, and then COVID, the next wave comes, so it's very difficult to plan long term. What do you think, Migs?
No, I think it's impossible to plan long term. I think you put plans in place and you keep yourself, but you give yourself options. You give yourself you keep yourself flexible, and as things turn one way or the other, you want to take advantage of those, because all that you can do is be more flexible than the next guy, and that comes down to seeing a good deal in the market. Good deals will be good deals because someone's been flexible enough to actually make it work for them. So I really enjoy Nico's breakfasts and chats, because the benefit of that is you're able to see a bunch of opportunities, discuss the opportunities, see the different perspectives, and even if you're not necessarily ready to take on a deal that Nico's presenting, it's such a great training ground for when that good deal does come up. And I think that's, as investors, even if you're not ready, if rates aren't doing what you want them to do, if things are a bit tight, never take yourself out of the market, never take yourself out of the opportunities to see what's going on and to be able to learn from it, because your question might not be great, but the next person's question might just open your mind up to a whole new opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure, such a difficult thing, but scrolling down these comments over here on Facebook and the social media platforms, Miguel, it looks like most people are just like Jade says, keep your head down and keep doing deals, because the big question is, when is the best time to get started in property? When's the best time to invest? And we've seen investors in a market going up, a market going down. Investors just keep on investing. Make sure the numbers make sense. When you're running the numbers, does it work at 9%, 10%? Do you have some equity in there? Does it make financial sense? Do you know what you're doing when it comes to rentals? Are you getting rental insurance? And I think from an investment point of view, when you're getting into a deal, making sure you understand all the risks, how to run the numbers, how to do due diligence. Because if you tick all those tick boxes, regardless of the market, people need a place to stay. And if you bought in an area with a very strong rental demand, there's no guarantees, but the chances are you will be safe and you will be good. That's my view, eh?
You got to think of this like as a small business. People think investing. So the average new investor thinks investing is passive. You buy it, you put a tenant in there, you kind of forget about it, and you just check if the rents come in every month and stay on top of your utility bills with the council. But the reality is if you look at it as a small business, and as a small business, you would ensure that your product's good, it stays good, that you're painting your shop out, you're keeping your product and your premises up to date and looking smart, that you value your customer, that you treat them professionally. You don't, your customer, your tenant's never your friend, but they are a valued customer. You do maintain a professional relationship. And if you do all that and you value them, you keep your price point reasonable, but you also don't underestimate the value that you provide. So if you really apply some basic hot dog stand type principles, you're already ahead of the next landlord advertising their place down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Awesome, Mix. I think that's it, Mix. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your efforts.
Thanks, man. And sorry, just to pop in and pop out, I thought I'd drop in and just drop off some interesting data points. We've got to go off to another Microsoft Teams meeting now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be calling you to get some more stats for next week's coffee chat, eh?
Awesome. Enjoyed it. Thanks.
Okay,
Good to see you
cool,
guys.
eh?
Have a great Monday.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Miguel.
Miguel. You too,
Cheers.
eh?
Bye-bye.
Cool, man. Okay, and Nico, you were talking there about you've still got some opportunities. Are those angel investment opportunities? Are they multi-lets? Are they buy-to-lets? What type of opportunities do you have?
So yeah, at the moment we got some angel investments still available. We also have multi-lets available, and we have developments. Where you can get involved with regards to type of learn and earn opportunities as well. So we really got quite a bit. I think the most difficult ones to get hold of at this moment is a normal buy-to-let, and I think what we've just discussed as well. And this is actually a nice question to discuss at some stage as well. Is just the fact that rental incomes has really either stayed the same or people reduced it. But it is a good question to see, would rentals actually increase a little bit as time going to go on as well? Are we going to see that, that market recovering from a rental income perspective? And that's something that I would, is a nice discussion point, but it's also going to help rental, even multi-lets, to see what is the highest rentals that you can get at the moment because of it being reduced so much. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll ask Dave, eh? Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just think the problem that we're having here in Cape Town at the moment is just the predictability of the market. It's just that uncertainty that we have. I'm seeing landlords on both sides of that argument going up and down. So it's just a matter of relying on the safest form of that data that we can work on. Let's work from there.
Yeah. And I think with your deals, Nico, if I remember from last week, you got some deals that are giving you 5,000 Rand cash flow, 10,000 Rand cash flow, 15,000 Rand cash flow. So what I'll suggest, if any of you want to get a deal under your belt before Christmas, just to get the OTP signed and get the momentum going into 2022, whether it's a small deal or a biggish deal, but you're looking for positive cash flowing properties, just drop an email to Nico. Dave will put a link in there for you. Just give Nico a call and email, and he'll let you know what he's got available. And yeah, so then, as we said, there's a couple events between now and the end of the year. There's a couple deals available. I think there's maybe one or two left. And yeah, Dave, like you said, we'll be back on Monday, hey?
100% back on Monday, and then back again on the 20th for the last coffee chat for the year.
Awesome. I think that's it there, Dave. Unless you want to, is anything we're missing? Any comments we've missed? Or
no, I think that's good. I think I answered 1 or 2 questions in the chat box as well. But yeah, thanks so much everyone for joining us. Remember, we're here every week, 1 o'clock. So Andrew and myself are generally here. Sometimes we'll get some guests on, like Migs and Nico, just to sort of give some new faces to you guys. But yeah, that's it for me, Drew.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Nico. Cheers, everyone.
Can I mention one last thing, Andrew?
Yeah, sure.
So we've created a Facebook page for Precision Realty as well. So if you're not on our Facebook page, go and join. It's just Precision Realty. If you search for it, you'll find us there. And then just apply, and then we'll make sure that you get the deals. So we'll start posting deals on Facebook there as well. But if you are not getting our adverts, please make sure that you do send us an email so that we can enroll you as an investor onto our database.
Perfect. Send us that link. Cool, Denzel. Thanks, Darren. Good to see you there. Cheers, Jaco. See you next week. Jay, the rest of you, Grace, thanks for joining. And we'll see you on Monday.
Thanks, everybody.